This is AAFD TV, the official streaming TV show for the American Association of Franchisees and Dealers, whose mission is to help our members achieve total quality franchising. Let's get today's show started. Welcome to AAFD TV, the official streaming show of the American Association of Franchisees and Dealers. I'm your host, Joan Bowling, and I'm excited to have you with us today. Cantrell Schutte, with offices in Atlanta, Detroit, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Tampa, has built a reputation as a trusted advocate for franchisees, business owners, and employees across a wide range of industries. Led by partner William Cantrell, the firm specializes in franchise and dealer law, employment law, business litigation, and the enforcement and defense of non-compete and trade secret matters. With a deep understanding of the unique challenges franchisees face, Cantrell Schutte provides comprehensive legal services from reviewing and negotiating franchise agreements to resolving complex disputes with franchisors. Their mission is to protect clients' rights, minimize legal risks, and achieve favorable outcomes in even the most challenging cases. I'm thrilled to be joined by William Cantrell, partner at Cantrell Schutte. William, welcome to AAFD TV. So glad you're here.
Hey, thank you. I appreciate the warm welcome.
So let me ask you, what inspired your firm to build a dedicated team to focus on franchisees? And how does that give your clients an edge?
Sure. Well, first, we took a look at the market several years ago, and we believe that franchisees and aspiring franchisees, that target market is greatly underserved in the legal marketplace. There's no lack of excellent law firms who cater to franchisors, but we are one of a very small handful of law firms nationwide that practice group of attorneys dedicated to representing franchisees and aspiring franchisees. And second, that aligns with our firm's broader purpose, which is that we are passionate about representing individuals and companies who have been wronged, or business owners, aspiring business owners who want to get into the franchise industry without being taken advantage of.
And so that specialty does give your clients the edge. So when someone's looking to buy, renew, or maybe expand their franchise, what kind of value can they expect from a franchise disclosure document or a franchise agreement review from your firm?
Well, first, let me walk you through what our process looks like for a what I call the FDD packet review. That includes the FDD, the franchise agreement, and a number of other legal documents and disclosures that are contained in that packet. First, we review and analyze the relevant sections of each of those documents. And then we conduct a deep dive call with the client to provide detailed feedback and recommended due diligence. And that call is quite lengthy, anywhere from an hour and a half to half a day long. And we provide the client with the video and audio recording of the call and summary of the transcript of the call. And we provide a detailed due diligence checklist following the call. And on the call itself, we highlight and explain the most important FD disclosures and franchise agreement provisions. We explain any legal and business concerns that we have. We point out any non-traditional and potentially unfair provisions in the franchise agreement. And we outline provisions that we recommend be negotiated. And we ensure the client understands the franchise investment's pros and cons, including, again, going into detailed recommended due diligence, separate and apart from, that document we provide on the back end. In short, I like to give clients the analogy of buying a home. You never consider buying a home without first having an inspector look at the home. In fact, that's usually required in most states. And so here, I think the need for an expert to review and give guidance is frankly more important than buying a home. If you're buying a home, you don't like it, you can turn around and sell it. With a franchise, it's usually costing as much, if not more, than a home in terms of the investment, and you're usually stuck with it for anywhere from 7 to upwards of 10 years, and it's generally your full-time job, or at least a lot of your attention. So we think it's really prudent for anyone, whether you're a first-time franchise buyer or someone who's looking to expand, to hire experienced counsel to go through that FDD packet with you.
Your firm really works as a trusted advisor to that potential client who maybe in the excitement of that franchise can only see certain things. But because of your specialty in your firm, you guide them along the way. And that's a very thorough beginning process. I like that. Let's talk strategy now. Can franchise agreements actually be negotiated? And what key areas should franchisees be thinking about when it comes to protecting their interests?
And short, yes, of course they can. It is certainly a misnomer that they can't be. And that misnomer is certainly not corrected by a number of the persons involved with the sale process. In fact, I've even heard the franchisor and broker say things such as, "We encourage you to have an attorney look at this, but we're likely not going to change anything in it." Okay. And that's just, that's far from reality in most cases. So in reality, almost any provision that doesn't relate to the franchisor having control over the brand and the system itself is generally fair game for negotiations. Okay. So, let me give some meat on the bone there. So just a few provisions to consider negotiating would be certain fees, the franchise fee, renewal fee, transfer fee, and even fees that you shouldn't be charged until you're actually open. Okay. Also the time to open. Okay. That is often, if this is a brick and mortar type business, oftentimes that glide path is just unrealistically short. Okay. Termination rights would be another area to look at, including what those penalties would be. Likewise, the calculation of damages or liquidated damages and the amount of a default. Again, these are things that don't impact the brand of the system, but they help mitigate financial exposure to a potential franchisee in the back end. And even the non-compete provisions, to the extent there's any ambiguity or overbroadness, or if it's going to, purport to apply to family members other than the spouse. Okay. And finally, non-curable default terms. Okay. And that's really important because as it implies, you can't cure those. And so you want to make sure that those are pared down to the ones that we believe are absolutely essential for the franchisor, or anything else they're required to give reasonable notice and the time to cure. Now, factors that may influence the amount of leverage someone has when negotiating with the franchisor, there's a number of factors, and that includes the size of the franchisor and the franchisor's desire or lack thereof to expand quickly, and the size of the deal. Those and several other things are all factors in just how much negotiation power a expiring franchisee may have.
All important points. And the bottom line is, yes, there are opportunities to negotiate, which is why you have that trusted advisor with you. Now, from your frontline experience, what are some of the top legal issues that franchisees come to you for help? Maybe not even at the beginning, but midway when things might get a little sticky.
Sure. So while they come to us for any number of reasons, the two reasons that make up or constitute probably 90% of the reasons that individuals are referred to us or otherwise find us. It is for the FDD and franchise agreement reviews and negotiations. We've already talked about that.
Yes.
And second, what I'll broadly say is disputes with their franchisor. Okay? And while there are a number of firms that handle the transactional side and negotiation side with the franchisees and franchisors, we are one of the extremely few firms who represent franchisees and specialize in dispute resolution. Okay. And that's for all disputes between franchisees and franchisors. Those include claims, for example, for fraud or mismanagement relating to a number of things, marketing funds, encroachment, breach of the good faith and fair dealing with respect to certain contract provisions, and just flat out breach of the agreement, or implied obligations by the franchisor. And of course, we're also roped in to handle injunction hearings relating to non-competes and non-solicits, and really any other type of legal dispute you can think of, the franchisee and franchisor. And we handle all aspects of the dispute, meaning from initial demand letter and negotiations to mediations, arbitrations, and all the way through trial, whether that be through arbitration or in a state or federal court.
So a franchisee, obviously, day to day is working on their business. And when they have a dispute, they might feel that they do not have the power or the time or the energy to really leverage any options, which is why, as you stated, your firm comes in with a variety of different disputes in order to deal with the back end of the disputes while the franchisee is dealing with his business on a day-to-day. And that is absolutely invaluable. So let's talk about then the key players on your team and what states are you currently serving franchisees in?
Yeah, so in short, we represent franchisees nationwide in every state. This is one of the few areas of law that a law firm in one or more locations is able to do so for a number of unique legal reasons relating to franchise law and the nature of those disputes. As for our practice group, we have about a half dozen attorneys in our franchise practice group. That is a large group for just a group of attorneys who focus on franchise law. In fact, to my knowledge, I think it makes us one of the largest franchisee practices in the nation. And one of the reasons for our growth these last few years is that we're very active in the franchise industry, building relationships, both within franchise trade associations and even with franchise side law firms.
And that's so very important. Not only do you deal with issues and setups and disputes in the industry, but you're part of the franchise world, so to speak. As you mentioned, you attend the conferences, the conventions. You're up on what's new or what's changing. And I'm sure it's an ever-changing landscape that your firm is aware of, and then updating and sharing that with franchisees. So they always feel like they have somebody who is there for them and supporting them, and also informing them as far as what's next, what's in the future. Yes?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay. So for anyone who's watching that's already in the franchise world, or they're thinking about stepping in, what do they need to know about your firm, its uniqueness, and again, how you show up? Give us that summary that's so important for everyone to know.
I'm a big believer in specialization. And so whether hiring us or someone else, hire an attorney who has substantial experience and focus in franchise law, specifically representing franchisees. Whether that, certainly, day in, day out, or week in, week out. And they focus on both the FDD review and negotiation process and the dispute resolution process, because those are really two sides of the equation in terms of the franchise world from the perspective of a franchise attorney. So if you can find a law firm, whether it's ours or someone else who has many years of experience doing those two types of things, you should be in good hands.
You'll be in good hands, confident hands, and be able to move ahead with the business of your business for the franchisee. William, thank you so much for being with us today, and we appreciate all your insight and wisdom on the franchisee world. To connect with William and the team at Cantrell Schutte, please visit the website information displayed below. That does it for today's show. Thank you for watching, and be sure to share this episode with your industry friends, partners, and colleagues. I'm Joan Bowling for AAFD TV, and I'll see you next time.